Walmart are the bad guys. These are Republicans. Walmart are the bad guys because Walmart drives out of business small mom and pop stores. Remember when the left had that view? So why are the Republicans becoming the left? Why can we not tell the difference anymore? Why is there no differentiation between left and right? What is it about when you lose principles? Does it mean you have to adopt leftist ideas? Why are the Republicans becoming leftists? Because that's what they are. I mean, they're becoming leftists. This Walmart statement by Trump is just Elizabeth Warren. This is greedflation. These are the only reason prices are going up is because of the corporate greed. The only reason tariffs are being passed on to you, the consumer, is because of corporate greed. Why is the Republican Party going left? Why is the absence of principles mean? Why can't they go in a different direction? Why can't they become accidentally much more free markets? I mean, there's fundamentally two reasons that it is inevitable that once you abandon the principle of freedom, once you abandon the principles of, free markets, I'm not even talking about a principled stand of a completely rational government. Just the basic ideas that Republicans once had about markets and about government. Once you abandon all those ideas, any principles, the inevitable path is towards greater and greater and greater government intervention, greater and greater erosion in your commitment to support markets. And the two ideas here, one is the existence of pressure groups that over the last 100 years, well, really since the late 19th century, as government has grown slowly, as government has regulated, as government has distributed subsidies and favors, groups have got established that are interested in, a subsidy for solar panels and a subsidy for ethanol and a subsidy for fill in the blank, for anything. And those pressure groups are they have a huge incentive to lobby because their whole existence is dependent on lobbying. They have lawyers, they have whole mech organizations dedicated to lobbying. Whereas the rest of us who suffer because of the subsidies, because of the favors, because of the redistributions, because of the regulations, we don't have a lobby. I mean, we don't have an interest to go to Washington. We think that by electing representatives who claim to be against subsidies, who claim to be pro-markets, that's all we do. We vote for them and we go on about our business. And in the meantime, the mixed economy over the last 150 years has created these swamp animals, these pressure groups that exist everywhere. And this is why I hate Washington, D.C. as a city. They're everywhere in Washington, D.C., everywhere. And their whole purpose is to protect their particular little piece that they have managed to carve off from all of us. And they will fight for it. And for somebody with no principles to stand up to that, nobody's going to stand up to that. Nobody's going to stand up to somebody who's adamant, who's aggressive, who's willing to put money and effort and political heft behind a particular agenda. Nobody's going to be willing to stand up against that when they have abandoned principle, because they don't believe in anything anymore. Once you abandon principle, you're in the wind. You're in the wind. The second, of course, is altruism. Philosophically, morally, you can't, even if you're trying to hold on to some semblance of some idea of a principle, you have no basis on which to hold on to it. And they will keep coming at you, and you're holding up, and people are going to die because of you, and people are going to suffer because of you. So if you add this use of altruism for guilt with the pressure groups, I mean, unless you are very strong, unless you have clear principles, unless you understand the long-term consequences of what you are doing, you're going to cave. To not cave means to really understand, to really have an idea of why, the fact that you have a principle, why you have it, what the consequences are of abandoning it. And that's just gone. We've just not elected people like that. Because it's very difficult to survive in Washington if you have principles in a world that is basically manipulated by pressure groups, and where the president, where the executive branch is run by, people who don't believe in anything. So the Republican Party is gone. I mean, it stands for nothing. It stands for whatever the pressure group of the moment will decide. Whatever the whoever yells the loudest will get. It's not that the Republican Party's become socialist. I don't think they believe in socialism. I don't think they believe in anything. I think they believe and are now committed to sticking their finger out into the wind and figuring it out. They don't have a principled opposition to Walmart, but Walmart stands in their way of sustaining the delusion that tariffs have no negative consequences on Americans. So Walmart must be the bad guys. It's fascinating to see people try to defend Trump on this statement about Walmart. It's an indefensible statement. But, but they will try to defend them. Right? And there is no defense. The defense is some kind of, and this is what they always fail at, right? The defense is some kind of referral to 3D chess or 4D chess. It's some kind of abstraction. Now, I think more and more people are starting to get it, but because he's so blatant. Yeah, I'm looking at some of the comments about Trump's commentary, and the only thing I get is insults against anybody objecting to what Trump is doing. That's it. Anyway, so lack of principles necessitates the left because it necessitates bigger and bigger government because of pressure groups, and all of that is, it undermines any ability to stand up against the pressure groups. What undermines that is altruism. And that's kind of what unifies all the crazy headlines that we're seeing right now. They're not cutting any subsidies to energy. They're attacking Walmart for raising prices. I'll give you this example. Where is it? I've got it somewhere here. When faced with the fact, I don't know if you saw this, but on Friday, I think it's Moody's lowered the U.S. credit rating because of all this government spending and because nothing is being cut and because Doge was a bust and because they're cutting taxes and not cutting spending. Because of all that, the U.S. credit rating was cut from AAA to AA1. Typically, a cut in the ratings generates higher interest rates on your debt. So when Bessett was asked about this, right, this is what he said. Who cares? Qatar doesn't. Saudi doesn't. UAE doesn't. So now, a standard of we're the good guys is that Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates are willing to invest in us. We must be good. I mean, we must be financially viable. Qatar, Saudi, and UAE are not investing in us for any other reason than we're the equivalent of a AAA rating. So we're getting our legitimacy, our moral sanction, our financial and economic sanction from the Saudis, the Qataris, and the UAEs. It's just an insane world.